everybody, and welcome to the Thriving Show, where we are teaching you how to create a healthy lifestyle, a thriving business, and a life of intention in the midst of the coronavirus crisis. So we have today a beautiful entrepreneur. She is a plant-based coach, a recipe creator, and she's here to teach you how to make healthy choices, how to live a plant-based life in the midst of the chaos, the toilet paper crisis, looking for fresh foods. She is the creator of Soul in the Raw. It is Marina Yanay-Triner. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we are talking earlier, before we pressed record, we were talking about the grocery stores.
Yes.
And what is going on right now, and how it is so hard for those of you who are living a healthy life or trying to choose plant-based lifestyles, how hard it is to get access to fresh food right now. So can you share with us a little bit more about that and what people can do?
Yeah, so the funny thing is that I noticed all the cheese and meat were gone, and I was like, oh, that's good. I mean, not for those people, but I'm just glad that we have enough, options. But yes, a lot of things are gone. Or I think the bigger issue is we don't really want to go to the grocery store a lot, and be in this crowded space. So the best thing that you can do is actually stock up, and you can order things online too. Like I like to use Vitacost, or you can use Amazon, and they are having some shortages for no good reason, because we don't actually have a food shortage. So it's just like a stressful kind of thinking that people are exhibiting. But if we are calm, we know that we don't have a food shortage, there's enough food, and just buying pantry staples like potatoes and oats and whole grains and beans. I bought a bunch of canned beans and stuff like that. And you can do it online again, instead of actually going to the store. That's really going to help you out.
That's such a good point with the canned beans. And I know that there are some canned foods to be watching out for, like lots of sugar, lots of added substances. Can you give us some advice on how to make healthier choices?
Yeah, well, generally you don't even really need canned stuff. Like you can buy dried beans and just cook them yourself. I just thought it would be a nice little shortcut to have at this stressful time, because there's so much hysteria in the air, and it affects all of us, even the ones that have these mindfulness practices. Like me, I still was feeling this sense of overwhelm. So I really wanted to have that on hand. But if you do want to buy anything canned, just read the ingredients. Make sure it's very simple, doesn't have sugar, like you said, preservatives. Basically, my rule is that I understand all the ingredients. Like I bought black beans. It says water, black beans, and salt. Very, very simple. And then you also want to make sure that you're getting BPA-free cans. That's also very important if you are getting cans. But then you can also get dried fruit and freeze-dried veggies, which I love.
What is your advice on how to, not only eat a healthy plant-based life, but when you're out in the wild, you're hiking, you're doing these things, why is that important for us?
Yeah, well, first of all, stress relief is super important right now. So just being in nature, connecting to nature, and moving your body. It's important not to overdo it or underdo it, because both of them have an impact on the immune system. But if you are just moving, I'm starting to do home workouts now. So just doing something active, it really boosts your immune system. But I think the most important thing is, like I said, the stress relief part of it, because stress is really detrimental to your immune system, and lack of sleep also. So doing those things to boost just your happiness, your serotonin, and make sure that you're sleeping really well is going to be really, really good.
I love that you brought up immune system, because I think that is something that is on the very tippy top of everybody's mind right now. So what are some plant-based healthy ways that we can be boosting our immune system? Like what kind of vegetables, what kind of things can we be using in our diets to make sure that we're getting a boost?
I love that we're talking about this because I feel like the media does not include this discussion, which really has been upsetting. You know, I think it's so important because at the end of the day, it is a virus and actually it came from eating animals. So that's a really good point to remember. Like when you are choosing plant-based choices in general, it's already great. We are already minimizing our exposure to viruses because the way that animals are raised right now, they're in such close quarters and the situation is so dire there that viruses and epidemics spread so easily and rapidly, and then we get them, you know. And so many, I mean, I think almost every single one of these viruses, like the influenza and the SARS, you know, all these different ones that have happened over the past like 200 years have actually started from eating animals. So first of all, if you are eating plant-based, that's already so, so good. Like, good job, great choice. You're already minimizing your risk. And just to mention, even though I'm just talking about food, it's really important to say that there are many guidelines like washing your hands and all of that stuff that you should definitely follow, just official guidelines, you know, just minimize contact with people for a little while, hopefully. So definitely follow that. But then when it comes to your immune system, again, eating plant-based is very amazing for your immune system because one of the things that happens is that you're not going to waste so much energy on digestion, which takes a lot of our energy. When you think about it, when you get sick, you don't really want to eat. That happens a lot of times, which is not a bad thing. A lot of people say, force yourself to eat, but it's actually not a bad thing to listen to your body in that way and just allow it to rest, recover, and work that immune system. But when we are eating plant-based, we're putting less stress on the digestive system. And that's a really great thing. So that's number one. And then number two is the different foods that can take that up a notch. So I would say that's onion and garlic. Kind of people know that. There's also things like elderberry and echinacea, which I don't really know the science on those. I'm not sure it's super strong, but it's also something that's better to take before you get sick. So if you're not sick currently, maybe you can try those. And then something that I have been really loving, and there is a lot of science on, is mushrooms. So there's a lot of different medicinal mushrooms that are really good for your immune system. And they're a little bit different than your regular, like, you know, white button mushroom that you just buy at the store. And they are dried. So that's good news for us right now, right? They can keep in the fridge for a long time. And there's things like reishi, chaga, turkey tail, cordyceps. There's all different ones. So you can go Google and learn a bit about them. I'm also still learning. It's just a whole other kingdom. So it's not a fruit, it's not a vegetable, it's a fungi. It's a whole different kingdom. It's so fascinating. And there's a lot of evidence about how they boost your immune system. And I have actually felt that too with my digestion and my immune system in the last few months. I've been taking them, luckily. So I would really recommend starting to incorporate them. And the best way is actually to cook them. So you don't want to eat them raw. So like in a soup or a stew, something cooked in a pasta, and they actually taste really good. The powders, I bought some for my family as well, and they've been loving them. There's, you can find on Amazon like a mix of immune boosting mushrooms all in one capsule. So it's different ones because there are thousands of medicinal mushrooms and we're still discovering them. So that would be one of the best things. And then in terms of other stuff that's not about diet, we already talked about sleep and movement. And then another thing is definitely meditation. Like this morning, I felt myself just going into, you know, the stress, the world of stress, like, oh my God, what's happening? And just all these stories, like the really stories that start circulating and they just grow and you just spin out. So meditation is so amazing. And I really felt that this morning because I just decided like, okay, I'm going to take control right now. I'm going to stop everything and I'm going to take control of my mind. And then the emotions really kind of tune into that. So like if your mind is calm, then your emotions, you can suddenly feel how calm and happy you become. So I really felt that this morning and I really enjoyed like a 20-minute meditation outside. It was really nice.
That's beautiful. I think, yeah, I agree with you. That is so important to not get caught up in just even though maybe we're not as busy as usual, I feel like the mind chatter, the busyness of social media, of news, all these things we can get caught up in when we have that spare time. And, with you were talking about the medicinal mushrooms and all of the different types of things you can get. What do you think about with teas and tea products?
Yeah, herbal teas are great. They also calm you down. So that's really nice. Actually, my whole interest in health started from that in a way,
Oh.
because my family, like growing up, were from Ukraine, where actually mushrooms are really big as well. We used to pick mushrooms all the time in the forest. But then also different medicinal teas like, oh my God, it's like escaping valerian root.
Mm.
That one, it's not for immune necessarily, but it's just really good for sleep.
Mm.
So, and chamomile is really good for sleep. So just seeking out, even if it just says immune boost, just make sure that the tea doesn't have, sugar or natural flavor, which actually is not very natural. In reality, it's just a name. So just make sure it just has herbs and it's organic. That's a really nice thing to include. Yeah.
I'm so glad you talked on that, because that was going to be my next question, was for those people, that are having the sleepless nights, because there are a lot of people affected, financially, maybe their jobs, they're not sure when they're going to be able to get back to work. Maybe their kids are out of school and they're worried. And I'm hearing a lot of people like inboxing me saying, I can't sleep. My mind is racing. So yeah, those like valerian root, chamomile are great ways to help people wind down.
Yeah. And I totally understand that. There's I mean, even though I don't feel that I'm as impacted as maybe other people, I think I talked with you like last time that I was on your show about PTSD and just living with that. So one of the things that really triggered me was like, oh my God, someone's trying to control my life, telling me where I can go, where I can't go, and just like spinning out for several days, just feeling like so out of control. And in addition to the food, which has been super helpful, there's other things to work with our emotions. So one of the things is just don't judge yourself. So it's just like adding another layer, when you're stressed and then you start to judge yourself, it's adding another layer to it. So one of the things that I learned from my mentor, Alyssa Nobrega, is to say the sentence, I forgive myself for judging myself for stressing out or whatever it is right now. And the truth is, and then you speak to that, like, it's okay. It's normal. This is what's happening. So of course it's like a stressful time right now and we're all in that. So just forgive yourself deeply and just practice self-acceptance. So for those 3 days that I was really spinning out, I just, allowed that to happen. And then after it just felt a bit calmer, I started to meditate where I would actually just allow my emotions to happen. So if it was sadness or stress, it's okay. I just allow that to happen. That's what's happening. It's reality in my body. And then also remind yourself that it's not all of who you are. Like, it's just a part. So the stress, the sadness, whatever you're experiencing, it's just one part. And it's really powerful when you recognize that you have the joy in you at the same time as well, and you can actually access it. That's what I was doing this morning. I was really acknowledging that part and then also saying, okay, well, I also feel joyful. Like, there's also still joy inside of me. And then I allowed the joy to come out and, come to the surface. And so before bed, please stay away from your phone.
Yeah.
I know we're all so guilty. You're not the only one. But really, like, I try to pause my Instagram for the day after I post and answer questions. I try to pause it so that I don't look at all the coronavirus posts. And I try to not watch videos, not watch the news. Thankfully, I don't have a TV, so that really helps.
Mm-hmm.
And before bed, just really, really wind down. Like, for 1 hour, dedicate time. Even if you're with your kids or your family, you're not alone, you can drink tea together. You can chat with the virus being off topic, and then meditate before you go to sleep. That helps so much to clear your mind. So just lay in bed and put on a guided meditation and just really, take that time for yourself, because the truth is that you will be better in life and business when you actually take the time to do those things.
I love that. And that so embodies the theme of this, of thriving even in the midst of the crisis. And what I've learned is, this is such an evidence. There's so much evidence of this happening in the world, but really, honestly, there's always going to be some form of the coronavirus or something that's going to be in our way that's going to block us from really thriving. So if you had one key takeaway as far as, how can someone thrive even in the midst of this, where as we're filming right now, there's quarantines going on. There's people who are, we're not able to leave our houses unless if it's to go grocery shopping or get medical treatment. There's other people in the world that, gatherings are being shut down. What is your one key takeaway that you would leave people with today?
It would definitely be to eat plant-based. It's just our best, insurance. Like, yes, we cannot control or guarantee anything, but I forgot to mention this, but actually, yes, there is this virus, but just so you know, like 75% of deaths right now in the US at least are caused by chronic illness, diabetes, heart disease. And yes, this is still going on as there is the virus, panic. So protect yourself, nourish yourself now, because that's one thing we can control. We can do our very best and we can eat these beautiful, healthy foods. So it is the plant-based eating, and it is also the mindfulness, just really remembering that everything's okay, everything will be okay. It will pass. And when it passes, we want to be better for it. And we also want to make sure that we're nourishing ourselves our whole lives, not just during a crisis. So let this be kind of a wake-up call for you to start doing that if you haven't already. And then you can keep going and you can remember this as actually a time of awakening.
Yes. Oh, such gorgeous, beautiful, amazing advice. Thank you so much. And for those of you, I know you're curious for more, so you can find Marina at soulintheraw.com. She also has, you guys are in luck because she happens to have a webinar coming out later in the week on the 26th, and it is called the Prep, Plan, and Play Your Way to Plant-Based Success. So can you tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Yes, it's going to be a live online training. All my classes were canceled this month, my live, in-person classes. But this training is going to be awesome. I'm going to cover plant-based dishes, and I'm going that are really easy. Mindset work, actually how to de-stress as well, and how to meal prep.
Perfect, which I know is important for all those working moms out there who are wondering, how do I feed my kids right now? It's got to be a crazy time for them.
Yes. Yeah, and meal prep really, really helps to get organized and to shorten the time in the kitchen.
And to keep your hand out of those snacks, right? Out of those unhealthy snacks.
Yes. Because you have gorgeous, delicious options waiting for you also in the fridge that you can easily choose those instead of the snacks.
I love that you said choice, because it's all a choice.
It is.
We have a choice to thrive during this time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. I know that people are going to be listening to this and just getting so much out of it. It's always a pleasure having you and being able to spend some time with you. And thank you for contributing to this conversation that is so needed right now during this time. And I just encourage everyone to check out her webinar, check out her trainings, and also go check her out online at soulintheraw.com, because she has some amazing resources that'll help you not just during this time, but all throughout your life.
Absolutely. And it's always a pleasure talking with you too. So thank you so much. I love everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you. All right, guys, we'll go out there and thrive during this time. If you are wanting to learn something, now's the time. Go learn it. There are resources out there. So stay strong. Let's thrive together and let's raise a better world. Bye.